When I find myself in times of trouble, Mother Mary comes to me, speaking words of wisdom, let it be. And in my hour of darkness, she is standing right in front of me, speaking words of wisdom, let it be. Let it be, let it be, let it be, let it be. Whisper words of wisdom, let it be. Hi, welcome back to another episode of the Soul Podcast. In this edition, I'd like to talk about expectations. Have you ever thought about it, and have you noticed that having expectations could actually affect our mental health and happiness? It can waste a lot of our time and energy, right? So today I'm going to be talking about this and how I have learned to enjoy life better and have more inner peace by dropping my expectations and allow things to just be. Now, first of all, we all have expectations, right? Think about it. We have expectations for ourselves, for everyone around us, like friends, family, coworkers. And if you're a teacher like me, we expect a lot of our students. And vice versa. If you are a student, I'm sure you must have some high expectations for your teachers as well. And so we basically have expectations for almost everything in our life. We think people should behave in a certain way, and we think they should say and do certain things. And when they don't, we get annoyed. Well, I remember when I was a teenager, I would get angry quite often, mostly because things didn't go the way I wanted it, or my parents, my friends didn't do the things that I expected them to do. I would get upset when I planned something and it failed to happen. And as I grew older and started working, I would catch myself being irritated every time my boss or coworkers didn't do the things that they're supposed to do, or when other people didn't behave the way I think they should. Now thinking back, I feel how silly that was to live that way, you know? And things get even worse when we bring expectations into romantic relationships. Oh, we do that a lot, right? Well, just like most people, I guess, long before I ever entered a relationship, I had always had a fantasy of what a romantic relationship should be and how boyfriends should act and do. And so when I started dating in my 20s, I was quite often being unhappy because my boyfriend was partying too often and playing too much video games, or didn't give me as much time and attention I needed. But in fact, he was just basically doing what he enjoyed doing. Meanwhile, I was upset because I had some unrealistic expectations of him, of what he should be doing. And so, needless to say, it caused so much stress and anxiety, and ultimately led to a lot of pain and suffering and misunderstanding and so on. You know, I've heard and witnessed so many stories like mine over and over again throughout my life. And then it got me thinking, how much better things could have been if we had just allowed things to unfold naturally and accepted people for exactly who they are. Don't you think? I mean, even things that are as stupid as waiting for the bus or waiting for somebody and they didn't show up on time or even not show up at all. we would sometimes go crazy and ruin the rest of our day. Isn't it so? Well, as I went through life and experienced a great deal of challenges and frustration and even depression sometimes, especially during those years when I lived in the US, alone and far away from home, I've come to realize that the real reason for my disappointment and suffering was not so much any of these things, but actually my expectations of them. You see, neither other people nor the outcomes of events that has caused my distress is my expectations of them. I was unhappy because I had set a bunch of rules and standards for things outside of me and attached to the outcomes, which almost always guarantees disappointment. I basically put my happiness in other people's hands and then waited for them to make me happy, which was not really the right way to live, in my opinion. In yoga, we have this powerful practice called Nonattachment, which means the ability to remove yourself from things that control or affect you in a way that's unhealthy for your overall well-being, especially mentally and emotionally. Well, this concept is often misunderstood by many people who think that non-attachment means being indifferent or emotionally cold or not caring about others. But the truth is, non-attachment means quite the opposite. Is about learning to let go of the thoughts, emotions, and habits that caused suffering, so that we can create space inside of us for love and empathy. Once we have love and empathy inside of us, we can spread it out to everyone and everything, right? And then maybe deepen our connection to other people and to the world around us. It allows us to be free from what we can't control or fix, so that we can, focus our time and energy on what is in our control. Like focusing on expanding our skills and capacity instead of wasting our time on setting up expectations, which is very unrealistic. And trust me, once you have learned and mastered the art of non-attachment and letting go of our expectations, doing things without getting attached to the outcomes, I'm sure you're going to experience life on a totally different level. And you'll be amazed at how wonderful things and people show up in your life. Yes. As Kyle Cease, one of my favorite spiritual teachers, said, "No person has ever broken your heart, but they broke your expectations. And by breaking your expectations, they bring you closer to your heart." Now, how true is that? The first time I listened to this, I was like, wow. We all have had our hearts broken at some point in our life, right? I had mine broken a few times. And what if we can love someone without having an expectation? Then they can't break our heart, right? If you look back and think about it really carefully, you see that most often than not, things turn out a lot different than what we desire. Oftentimes, people will behave the way they want, not how we want them to. And life will happen the way it happens, not the way we think it should. So, why bother? Really? I gotta tell you, whatever challenges and hardships and losses I've been through, I am always thankful because during those times, I was given the opportunities to really reflect and to grow from my mistakes. And practicing non-attachment has changed so much how I see things and people, and has definitely brought so much peace and happiness inside of me, for sure. And most importantly, has helped me to live better, love better, and do my job better. So just let it be. So if you're patient and interested enough to listen until this point, I encourage you to try and start practicing non-attachment and, letting go of the expectations for anything and everything in your life, and see how much happier you get and how much better you feel. And of course, come back here and let me know how it goes. I would love to hear your story. Thank you so much for listening, and I'll see you in the next episode. Bye-bye now. When I find myself in times of trouble, Mother Mary comes to me, speaking words of wisdom, let it be. And in my hour of darkness, she is standing right in front of me, speaking words of wisdom, let it be, let it be, let it be, let it be, let it be. Whisper words of wisdom, let it be.